passed their quali, by the way. So, and I gave this race a 10 out of 10 because it was superb. It was so good. So actually, it was a sprint weekend. So like, a sprint is like it's like a smaller version of the race that happens like the Saturday. It was like a day before the race, and Max won that. So yeah. Okay, let's talk about what happened. First, let's talk about Charles. Charles, my favorite driver. He won. Let's all applaud him. So he was starting 4th place, right? 4th place, and I was like, when the race started, I was only focused on Lando and Max, because Lando was starting 1st and Max was starting 2nd, right? So because of the way that the race went yesterday, I was like, but not yesterday, but how the sprint went Saturday, I was kind of stressing out. So they get to the first corner, right? They're turning the first corner, and Max is like passing Lando, and I'm like, oh my god, nah. I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs because I really wanted Lando to win this race, right? So I think they end up going off track. Actually, no, I don't think so. But like they basically end up like pretty like far into the corner, and I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs because I'm like, oh my god, Max is gonna pass Lando. And then out of nowhere comes Charles, and he passes all of them, and he ends up in 1st place. I was like, oh my god. Guys, it was a beautiful thing to witness, let me just say that. So yeah, so apologies, I just had lunch. So, but yeah, so Charles won the race, and I'm very happy. Let's see okay, let's talk about Mercedes this weekend. So so basically, it was a shit qualifying, right? Pretty shitty. Lewis ended up getting out, and I think he was 19th when he was on Q1. And so George ended up, he made it to Q3, but he ended up crashing, and because of that, I think he's still starting 6th, 7th, maybe 8th, I'm not even sure to be honest. I think he was starting 6th, but basically, they ended up like fixing a bunch of the car because of Park Vermeer and everything like that, so he ended up having to start from the pit lane. So that meant that George was technically starting 20th, and then Lewis was starting 17th, right? So basically, like, the Mercs weren't even in the top 10, and I was like, oh my god, it's a horrible weekend, right? Horrible for Mercedes. But then the race starts, you guys. Lewis went from, where did he start at 17th? He was up in 12th place after like the first lap. I was like, oh my god, this man is a genius. Like, he's amazing. Like, I love him so much. And so my mom at this point, she was actually watching the race with me because I was like screaming at the top of my lungs. And suddenly we see that there's a yellow flag, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck happened? It cuts to Lewis in the gravel trap because he had like spun out or something. And the rule is that if you can't get the car out of, like, if the car is stuck and you can't get the car out by yourself, then that means you're out of the race. Like, nobody can help you. So he was out of the race because the car was stuck and he couldn't move it. And I was so upset, you guys. I was so upset because I'm like, oh my god, this man was gonna do a miracle drive. He had gone up 5 places. He had gone up 5 places in the first lap, and then he was just out, and I was like, oh my god, it was horrible. It was horrible. But let's talk about George. Let's talk about George Russell. George Russell, the man that you are. So basically, George started 20th, as I said before, right? And at one point, I don't even know who it was, but he forced somebody off the track when he was overtaking them or something like that, and because of that, he got a 5-second penalty, right? Let me tell you where this man ended up. George ended up 6th place, guys, with a 5-second penalty. Keep that in mind. I'm like, oh my god, they're amazing. Like, oh my god, like, literally everybody applaud George because he did so well. Okay, what else happened? Okay, yeah, so George, Pierre, and Yuki, and Lando all got 5-second penalties. But let's talk about, this is really stupid and funny, but Liam Lawson is now driving for V-Carb. No more Daniel Ricciardo, so and he scored points. Yeah, I almost called him Lewis. Liam scored points, and so did Franco Colapinto. Franco, you need a seat for next year. I doubted you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I doubted you, but I regret everything that I ever said about you. You're a great man. But yeah, something happened during the sprint where Liam and Fernando Alonso, like, they were getting in a tussle. So like they were fighting like the sprint weekend and quali or whatever. But then they were also fighting like you know, during the race, and I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. But what else? Anything else that I want to mention before? No. Okay, so let's talk about the big thing. The big thing that happened. Right, so as we know, it's Lando versus Max for the World Championship, right? And so Max was third and Lando was fourth, right? What is it, like, I don't even know what lap it was. It was like from lap like 45, 46, 44. It was like around the 40s where Lando was finally close enough to Max where he can try to pass him and get third place, right? And I'm like, okay. And I was rooting for this man. So, you know, the race is going. We're like, they've been battling for so long, and I'm like, guys, I was like, oh my god, Lando's never gonna get past him. Like, this man is never gonna get past him. This man has been trying to, like, chase after this man for, like, the whole, like, 10 laps at this point. Like, what? I'm like, Lando, please. So, I was at the edge of my seat the entire time. They were both so good. I don't know, you guys, that race was so fun. Like, the racing that they were doing was so good and so entertaining. But, so finally, Lando ends up going, like, he ends up, like, overtaking Max. But this is where the controversy begins. Controversy. So basically what happened, what happened. So this is Max, this is Lando, right? And this is like the corner, right? So the rule is, if I remember correctly, the rule is that if, bro, I hate my phone, I literally have no storage, but okay. So the rule is that when you want to overtake somebody in the corner, if I remember correctly, you have to be ahead of them once you get to the apex, and the apex is basically just like the highest point of the corner. I don't know if that makes sense, but so basically, Lando wasn't, right? So he couldn't really overtake him, right? I might be explaining this wrong, by the way. I'm sorry if I am. So basically, what happens is that Max goes, and Max is taking like the racing line or something, and he goes, right? And then Lando is right by him, and they both end up leaving the track once they turn the corner. I don't know how to explain it, but I think they both leave the track, right? So basically, once that happens, Lando actually ends up ahead of Max, and that's where chaos ensues, right? So immediately it's like, okay, you know what? This would be considered overtaking off-track limits or off-track, which is against the rules. Everything that happens has to be on the track. As soon as you cross the white lines, you're not allowed to overtake, right? So the commentators are like, well, is he gonna get a penalty or not? Like, what's going on? But then it's also like, should Max get a penalty because he technically forced Lando off the track, right? So basically what ends up happening is that, so Lando finishes third, Max ends up fourth, but Lando gets a 5-second penalty because he had exceeded track limits. So he had gone off the track too many times, so he got a 5-second penalty for that. But the part that was so like controversial was, why didn't Max Verstappen get a 5-second penalty for forcing somebody off the track? Because like I mentioned before, George got, I believe it was George. George and Pierre too. I can't remember correctly. They both got penalties. I don't know if Pierre got one because of that, but I know George got a penalty because he forced somebody off the track, and that's not allowed. So it starts this whole, like, because of that starts this whole talk about if the FIA and the stewards are like favoring Max, because if I remember correctly, this is not the first time that an incident like this has happened before, where Max doesn't get a penalty because of something that he did or something like that. Algo así. But also, if I remember, I don't even know if I'm explaining this correctly, because also because the FIA says that they're more lenient in the first lap of the race or the first quarter of the race because that's when all the cars are like right next to each other. I don't know. There was a lot of talk on Twitter, especially, but I haven't been on F1 Twitter in the longest time because F1 Twitter's toxic, y'all. Like super toxic. I can literally scroll and I get so mad, so I decided I gotta stay off F1 Twitter. So now actually I'm like in a new, anyways, so I only go on Twitter every once in a while just to see like what's going on and everything like that. Oh my god, I almost forgot to talk about the cheating scandal. Okay, so there was rumors going around that a team was cheating, right? And everybody was like, oh, of course it's McLaren because they have like that illegal rear wing, if I remember correctly. So it's like, oh, of course it's gonna be McLaren cheating again. Now, allegedly, apparently, it was Red Bull. So I don't even know what. There's this thing called a bib, and it's part of the car. But I don't know what the fuck it does. But basically, allegedly, they were using that, and they were changing the height. They were changing something about the car under Parc Fermé, and Parc Fermé just basically means that you're not allowed to touch the car or change anything about the car, like under no circumstances, or else you get penalized. So apparently, Red Bull was like fucking up, messing up the car, or like messing with the car with using the bib. But actually, no, if I remember correctly, it's all false. Apparently, they weren't even cheating. But it would have been really funny because Singapore, they didn't use that, or apparently they didn't use it, and they were really good in Singapore. But it would have been funny because, you know, Red Bull has been so ass this year, and like they were cheating, and they were still ass. But I don't think they were cheating if I read the reports correctly. I don't know. All I know is that this weekend was great. It was such a fun race. I haven't felt that excited watching a race in so long. So yeah. But yeah. That was kinda loud. Sorry. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about the race. Like, be nice, y'all. I know there's a lot of people, like, right now, a lot of people are like, you know, Max should win the championship because they don't want Lando to win it. Call me crazy, you guys, but I want Lando to win. I want to see him win. I think it would be great. Because a lot of people don't like Lando because they think that he has too big of an ego. But let's be honest, guys, a lot of these guys have a huge ego. Call me crazy, I don't know. But yeah, I want him to win because he's never won. And I want somebody new to win. However, I need Max to win another race before the year ends. Call me crazy, y'all, but I missed the Dutch national anthem. So yeah. Sorry, I kind of rambled at the end, but yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if I missed anything important. I feel like I probably did. I don't even remember. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.